Here we are flying the BI-1 event plane. Gaijin was to kind of give it to me so I could review it for you guys. I run armored belts, and of course I don't run min fuel for obvious reasons. Because even with the fuel tank you only get about 157, as you can see on the top left right here. If you're not gonna run 100% throttle, this fuel will last you quite a while. And if you learned how to manage it, whereas what I'm doing right here, I'm taking off at 100% just to get away from the pack. It's a new plane, it's an event plane. People are sometimes keen to team kill such planes. So I'm just trying to get away from it. Once I reach about 500 kph I will start pitching up. I go back to 35% throttle, and with 35% throttle you will be able to stay in the air for a very long time. And I'm really talking 15 plus minutes here. A lot of times I will be 10 minutes into the game and I'll still have 50 seconds of fuel left. And you can do the math, 10 minutes, only use 1 minute of fuel. That's about a convergence rate of 1 to 10. Of course, you don't always have the ability to climb lean like this. I would like to run 35%. Normally I don't include the starts of the matches like this, but I think it's very important with this thing. I like to climb at 35%. I cruise at about 12%, so just the percentage of flame goes out. And if I really don't need to, I will just fly at 0% throttle. This thing glides really well. It's a glider after all. It feels really similar to the 163 in that regard. Of course, it flies very differently. It feels really awkward to use. It's very light. It compresses about 700 speed. That's not IAS. If you're at high altitude and you're going like 500 IS, you are already compressing, and I'm talking like 2 degrees a second turn. It does not move whatsoever. You can pull out of a dive if you're at like, well, 3 kilometers, but your turning circle is enormous if you go over 700, so I don't recommend you to do that. So how do you want to fly this thing? Well, you want to stay below 700 speed, kph. But you also don't want to use too much fuel. So what I recommend is stay at a medium altitude, about 3 to 4 kilometers is something I recommend, because the higher you go, the faster you will pick up your speed, and the faster you pick up speed, the harder it will be to maintain that speed as well, because you will go over that 700 very fast. So what I like to do is either be above or below someone and pull them up. Being below someone makes it so you use less fuel to climb. And if you're below someone, you can throttle up a little bit to say 50-75%, and you will climb stupidly fast still. And you can pitch up to someone, and once you're pitching up to someone, you're losing speed. And once you reach the plane you wanted to engage, you're going about 400-500 speed, and you can turn fight them. You can turn fight most planes in this thing. And even if you don't have the turn rate to do it, say you're fighting a Meteor Mark III or 163, you can face it, but you get the idea. You can just throttle up to 100% for a few seconds and you will get energy out of the ass. And like, I'm talking ridiculous rates. So you can either stall fight in the terms of energy fighting, but you can turn fight most things as well. I prefer fighting jets in this thing. I'll have some prop clips after this, but this is generally how I open the match, but props will be a bit higher, and that will be the clip after this one. So first things first, I'm engaging the 262 here. I'm looking at what he's doing. He's rather slow, but if he starts diving away, I'm already at that 650 speed mark. If I go any lower, if I start diving after him, even with 0% throttle, I will compress completely. So I'm just gonna let him dive away, not a big deal. And this other 262 might pitch up for me. If he does, he's toast. If he doesn't, then he can just dive away. He's pitching up. So what I do, I throttle up just a little bit to get that extra speed. If he goes vertical, he doesn't go vertical for me. So I cut throttle again to conserve fuel and also not to go too fast. Looking around to see if I'm not getting jumped. And I break off again because he's flying away. And you're gonna do a lot of this. If people don't want to fight you, they don't have to. They can just fly away. But if you do it like this, if you're trying to pitch up for me, I will throttle up to 100% for a very brief moment, get a little bit of altitude, a little bit of energy so I can pitch up. And now I will drop my flaps in a very pumping manner. What you don't want to do is keep them down, because they rip rather quickly. 262 stalled out. Not a very hard kill. Shoot the pilot out, and you get a kill. And a lot of the kills will be like that. You want to stall people out. If they're starting to roll around and they stay fast, you will not be able to kill them. Just don't even bother. It's a very fun plane in a certain regard, but it's a very unique plane. So if what you're seeing right here is not for you, it's not a problem. I don't think this thing will sell for very much. I think you're better off with the Macava if you're going for the marketplace strat. Because if you're flying for the marketplace, or if you're playing for the marketplace, then the Macava is probably going to net you a lot more money than this thing will be. Low fuel, has good performance, but it can't use all of it. It's too good for its own for its own right. You pick up so much speed, and even right now I'm running 6% throttle. I'm diving a little bit, and look at the speed I'm increasing. I'm just gaining speed like it's nothing. And I'm barely using my engine. So the fuel of this thing isn't the problem. It's definitely the guns. And sometimes, just like that one, if you stall someone out, you can get away with only using 20, 25, 30 shells. But a lot of the times that won't happen. I can really see me vulturing the area here, trying to find someone I can shoot. But there's really no one I can go for. And the Kika is the thing I want the most. It also has the most fragile engines, and it has the most energy out of all these 262s. And I can dance these 262s 1v4 for 5 minutes straight, not a problem. But I won't have the ammo to kill any of them. So I'm going for the Kika here. He seems rather slow and he doesn't turn very well. So it's very easy for me to just stick on him. Luckily he dies to the MiG-9 in the head-on. Not sure why you take the head-on like that, but you know, the Kika is dead, and that's something I like to see. 262 below me, he's shooting the water for some reason. Maybe he has a stuck gun and he just flew into the water like that. But right now, cutting throttle. If I don't want to go too fast, and look at the speed I'm gaining, absolutely insane. I sometimes try to use the flaps as air brakes. We'll see a little bit more of that in the later clips. Stop shooting there because a guy flew through my guns. He's flying straight, he's very slow, trying to go for the pilot snipe. Mostly when people are slow I will try to go for the engines, but I'm trying to get my kills here. And if I set him on fire and he doesn't burn up instantly, very big chance he's going to get stolen by a teammate, and that's something I don't want to happen. This 262 is about to get 3v1, not a very hard kill. And other than that, we won on ticket, and that's game. And on to the next clip, finding a prop this time. 40% throttle, this is the first game I actually did in it. He's above me, and this is ideal for me, because if he nose it down for me, I will go out of his guns, I will lose some fuel going, or lose some speed going up. I'm gonna cut my throttle here very soon, and I'm going to just scissor him. Because right now I know I can easily stall him out, but what I don't want him to do is dive away, because that makes it very annoying for me to kill him. So I'm trying to lose as much speed as I can here, and you can tell it's not really happening. And the 152C3 turns very poorly and maintains his speed very well, and I'm still staying in front of it, which is something I don't want to happen. So what do? We go up. Right here I didn't really know how to use my flaps yet. I was kind of scared of ripping them off, and now I'm reaching 300, so I'm quite confident I can drop them. But you see that even in this little loop where I'm going down with my 0% throttle, I'm still gaining quite a bit of speed. Now I can finally drop these flaps, and you can tell that the turn rate goes absolutely bonkers, and I'm instantly on a 6. And I mean instantly. So now I'm on him, but very slow, pretty easy shot. Get a hit, as per usual with these guns. Trying to stay with him. Didn't lead correctly, shot below him. I'm going 500 again. You can actually use your flaps at 500. Make sure to close and open them very fast in succession, because otherwise they will rip off. 152 seems to be not doing too well. I'm going 100% throttle for a little bit, so I can just loop over, get on the 6 again. And now he's basically toast. He's going very slow, he's going about 300. So I shoot him, shoot his wing off, kill his pilot. Very lucky that the guns work that well, but you get the idea. And this is something you'll see a lot of. People try to turn fight you, you can either stall them out, or you can try to dogfight them like that. But I do recommend you to stall them out before you go into a scissor like that. Stalling out, this is the second way to do it, which is, in my opinion, much more preferable, because you can kill them a bit faster. The problem is, if you do this at higher altitudes, everyone will just dive away from you and you will not be able to catch them. And you don't really want to chase them down, because it costs you a lot of fuel to get up there. And if you use that fuel to dive away, it's kind of a waste. Of course, you don't really want to go head on. I just popped a few rounds in a head on, just to maybe get an engine snipe or whatever. Didn't happen. Do this very gradual turn. I'm only using 35% fuel, or throttle still. I keep saying fuel for some reason. I guess you use 35% fuel in that regard. But the rates aren't that black and white. Using 12% fuel, god damn it, 12% throttle will last, a second will last you about 40 seconds, which is insane. If you run at 12% throttle, you can keep that plane up forever. I can tell he doesn't have the energy to stay near me, and he's an LF Mark 9, and we all know that that thing at this altitude is insane. But of course I'm going 600 here in the climb, throttle up a little bit again, get some separation, turn back in, lose that speed again. See what he does. If he pitches up for me, he's toast, because I can just go up again, because I'm still going 400 and I can throttle back up if I need to. But we get on a 6 again. Don't want to go too fast, so I dropped my throttle. This is the second game I did in the plane actually. So I wasn't really aware of how much speed this thing was gaining in the dive. That's why I broke off. So I'm just going to go back up, and now I'm doing at a 30% throttle instead of what I just had. I'm just gradually lowering it and see with how much I can get away. He's not really damaged yet. I just got a few Shivak rounds in his wing. He didn't really seem to be crippled from that. But we just keep looping. And I still have 1 minute 20 of fuel left, which can last me a long time. And now he's basically out of energy. Shoot his elevator. Should have led a little bit more, but again, I'm not really used to these guns yet. Or the ladder replacement, because I only did 2 games in it by now. And I only got the 1 kill you saw at the start, which was the 152C. And now he's basically falling out of the air. He's doing this turn. Nice broadside. Didn't manage to kill him, sadly. Will I actually be able to kill him? At this point, I wasn't really sure. Keep looking around because I don't want to get dropped on by someone else. But he goes vertical, which is perfect for me. He stalls himself out. Aim for the engine, or at least try to aim for the engine. And I set him on fire. He burns up from that, but now I only have two rounds left. I killed a 84 at the start. Not something I want to show off, and which is why I didn't leave it in the video. And now I have a thing which is kind of fun with this plane. Kind of ironic after I just said that leaving an 84 in the video isn't really worth it because it's such a low effort kill. But with this thing, if you get an Armoured sitting at 10 kilometers, you can just do this. You pitch up or you throttle up to 100% and look at his speed. I'm barely losing anything and I'm climbing hard over here. I'm cutting him off. I don't want to go too fast because this thing accelerates so well that I'm like I might overshoot. This guy is clearly AFK. What do? I just drop my flaps and then the speed kind of drops a little bit if I can stay on him. I go to a gun cam in the cockpit because it makes the parallax not existent, which is the thing with the camera being offset from your gun. So I like at this range I like to just go into my gun cam, shoot the engines, try to not hit the there we go, not hit the tail, set him on fire, and he's gonna burn up from that. Yeah, it's pretty fun. People don't expect it. And now I'm 35% throttle again at this altitude, and look at my speed. Look at it. It's just going. I'm gaining speed, I'm gaining altitude, I'm gaining everything, well except for ammo and fuel. And he's dead. And here's the Armoured I killed just prior to the other guy. I don't know why I showed it 1 second, but it doesn't really matter. But this thing just gets energy out of its ass, and it's kind of fun to fly. The guns are very frustrating, and most of the time it takes you so long to kill someone because you have to set them up, you can't compress, you have to get a good shot because otherwise you run out of ammo. And all of those things combined, most of the time your team will kill them before you are able to. So do you want to get this thing? All up to you. It's a very special plane. I can't really describe it. And of course, killing Armoured at this altitude is fun because they're AFK. If they're paying attention and they're trying to move, big chance you won't be able to have enough ammo to kill them. Hope this was helpful. I don't want you people to waste your time grinding it. I enjoy flying this thing. Hope you will too if you get it. And otherwise I will see you all in the next video.